All right, so today we are going to do 6-6 multiplying two decimals. This is on page 158 in your books. And I am going to go ahead and give you the problem that I would like you to pause your video and watch and write it down. Xavier, who never forgets his flute, wants to make a fruit salad and needs the amount shown. How much will each kind of fruit cost? So down here in your chart that I would also like you to copy, you have apples and pears. Apples are $2.29 per pound, and we need 3.2 pounds. And then pears are $1.89, and we need 4.1 pounds. So I'm asking for 4 answers here. I'm asking for an estimated answer of apples and pears and the actual answers. So we are going to solve this together. Over here I have the apples. So we have apples at $2.29, and we want to multiply it by 3.2 pounds. That's how many pounds we need. So we're going to treat this like any other multiplication problem and just don't think about the decimals. So we just need to do regular multiplication. 2 times 9, 18. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1. 5. 2 times 2 is 4. Add our 0. 3 times 9 is 27. Drop the 7, carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2, 8. And 3 times 2 is 6. Add them up. And after you add them, you should get 7328. But now I need to determine where to put my decimals. So up here, I need to see how many decimal places are behind the decimal. 1, 2 places, so I have 2. Then I need to look at my second number. How many spots behind the decimal do I see? Just 1. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So that means we need 3 spots behind, we need 3 spots to move the decimal. So my decimal starts at the end like a period in a sentence, and we need to move that decimal 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So our new answer would be 7.328. So this number that you just got, that's going to be your exact cost, 7.328. And our label is dollars. So how can we get our estimated cost? So for my estimated cost, I would have to just round. So I would need to say, is $2.29 closer to $2 or $3? Closer to $3. Then I would say, is 3.2 closer to 3 or closer to 4? Closer to 3. Excuse me, I made a mistake up here. 2.29 is closer to $2. So then I would just do 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Our estimated answer would be $6. Is $6 and $7 with some change pretty close? Yes, it is. So that's how we know we're correct. So we can go back and fill out our chart, and the estimated, or the actual cost was 7.328, and the estimated cost was $6. Let's go on to pears. You solve this one on your own, and I am going to make this a quiz question for you. Do the exact same thing that we did for apples. So this is what you should have gotten your spirals for the pears. Our exact answer turned out to be $7 and some change, and our estimated, since I changed 1.89 to a 2 and I changed 4.1 to a 4, my estimated answer would be $8. So let's go ahead and fill that out on our chart. So your chart would end up looking like this filled out. All right, so this is the first one I would like you to try. 9.3 times 4.1. Go ahead and just times it and multiply it just like you would if you didn't have the decimals in there. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 9, 9. Okay, add our 0 because we go to the next row. A lot of you are still forgetting that extra 0, that magic 0, so don't forget it. 4 times 3, 12, carry the 1. 9 times 4 is 36 plus 1, 37. We have to add these up. 3, 9, 10, 11, 8, and 3. Now it's where we kind of get a little stumped sometimes. So you need to ask yourself, how many spots are behind the decimal on both of these numbers? Well, on the first one, there's only one spot behind the decimal. On this one, there's only 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. That means I have to move my decimal 2 spots. So I started at the end like a period, and I need to move it over 2 times. 1, 2. My answer would be 38.13. Now remember, if you put 38.130, is that still correct? Yes, because this 0 on the back doesn't really account for anything. If you have something like this, and you have 1307, then you would definitely have to keep that 0 because there's a number behind the 0. All right, so here's your next question. 8.6 times 0.08 equals n, and your directions are solve for n. So remember, if you have a lot of numbers or more numbers, you usually put it on top. But in this case, you do not. You put the greater one on top. And I will tell you why in just a second. Because remember how I don't line up my decimals when I do multiplication, but I do write this second number underneath. I write it backwards sometimes just to line up my numbers easier. Okay, why did I put the 8.6 on top this time? Well, because this 0, do you need it? No, you don't, because it's in front of, it's not holding any place for you. But this 0 you do need because it's after the decimal point, so you have to keep that 0. So if you wanted to, you could have wrote the problem like 0.08 times 8.6 because they're the same. You can do it like that, but sometimes this 0 might throw some of you off. So let's just go ahead and solve this one. So go ahead and you do the multiplication. It will be in the quiz question. And you should get 704. Well, we need to determine how many spots to move the decimal. So once again, we have to count how many are behind each one. We have 1 here. We have 2 here. So we had 1 here. We have 2 here. If we add that up, it equals 3. If we start at the back like a period, how many times do we move it? 3 times 1, 2, 3. And your answer would be 0.704. And I made an error while I was doing this, and I actually did it on purpose this time. So this is not your real answer because Mrs. Clamers made an error. See if you can find where my error was. Where was my error in my multiplication? That will be on a quiz question. It was the very first thing I did. I said 8 times 6 is, I know it's 48, but I put the 4 down here. I can't do that. So 8.6 times 0.08. 8 times 6 is 48. There we go. 8 times 8 plus 4 is 68. There we go. And I don't need to do the 0 because he won't matter. So I need to move over 3 decimal spots. So your real answer is 0.688. I hope you caught my mistake. I would be very happy if you did. So the new great thing about the videos is you do not need to bring your book home anymore. If I have a question for you, I will simply say, this is question number 10. I'll write it out for you, and you do not need to look in your book unless that day at school I write on the whiteboard that you do need your book. Most days you won't need your book. So I want you to try a couple questions now, and you don't need your book. I would like you to solve these 3 questions, and then you are telling me what it equals. And instead of putting a question mark here, I just put n. So you're solving for n. So all you are doing is multiplying and making sure the decimal goes in the right spot. And you will get instant feedback. So in your quiz question, if you think this answer is 0.7289, I don't know, that's not the right answer. But if you think that is, and you type it in and you press submit, underneath it, it's going to give you the correct answer. So pretend the correct answer was 1.2. Then you know that you got that wrong. Okay? I will see that you got it wrong, and you will see that you got it wrong, but you'll see it right away instead of having to wait for me to grade your work. So that should be a cool new feature on your videos. So go ahead and solve these 2 problems. You need to remember that in a flipped classroom, if you get all of these wrong, you need to go back and rewatch the video to see what you didn't learn the first time, or what you might have missed hearing the first time. So go ahead and solve these problems. If you get them right, that's awesome. If you get them wrong, go back and try to figure out what you did wrong. And I will see you on Monday. Have a good weekend, guys.